make a
Yeah.
liberal use of the cough button, but I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
I got the notes up on my
Okay.
Mac, I think.
Okay. We should be live. Would you guys talk? Because I've completely readjusted the levels from how it's been in the past, so you guys will need to talk so I can check that, and everyone else can let us know if we sound about even. The volume should
Talk,
be
talk.
much, much louder than it used to be.
So I won't shout.
Okay, so we're
Talk.
louder. That's awesome.
Yeah. Because,
Because that's the important thing is that we're not loud enough.
well, you'd be shocked just how low I pushed the audio down on the live version and then readjusted it later, to the point that it was actually difficult to edit sometimes.
Right.
Okay. So, looks like everyone says we sound about even. So,
That's a
Clear.
lot. That's a lot to read from one. It's great.
I'm
well, no, there was also a sounds good to me.
just gonna jump in now too, so I can see the
Mm.
chat
Okay.
because I have FOMO.
Okay, let's go ahead and grab the 30 seconds starting now. Okay, that should be good. You guys ready to go?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I have like 3 electrodes stuck on me that won't come off. I think they're permanently melded to my skin. I just want everyone to know that. So if you hear any yelps of pain, it's because I pulled them off.
So, May will do her best in her new cyborg form.
Yeah.
Okay, ready?
You're
Yep.
like Eugen.
I've taken the medication this time, by the way, so I should be more available to not be an idiot.
Okay, you guys ready?
Uh-huh.
Welcome to the Thrill Podcast. We're here to have fun and hopefully not have audio issues this time while talking about Digimon. I'm Mark, I run with the Will.
I'm Air Palver, Digimon System Restore.
And I'm May, lost in translation mon.
And we're all here despite changes that almost came up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um.
this show kind of almost bounced around a bit before AR explains his end. Let me explain mine. We scheduled this one like what 3 weeks ago, I want to say, where AR immediately went can't, and he'll explain why.
Is that my cue to explain why?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
Uh.
let's not do this again with the bad queuing. That was a perfect handoff.
Okay. So I thought you had a fun story too.
Oh,
So
I do, but it makes more sense for you to do yours here.
okay. So yeah, I was originally going to be. My wife was originally scheduled. Well, my wife is scheduled to work today. She is at work today, and we had a. So I was going to have the kid with me all day today, which would have prevented me from doing the podcast. But our babysitter last night was like, "No, well, I'll keep him an extra day." She wanted to keep him an extra day, which astounds me. So I'm available, and our babysitter from last yesterday's anniversary festivities was made this happen.
And from my end, originally it was going to be just me and May, and I had worked on getting us a one-off guest host. They ended up not being able to make it before I could even announce anything. Then after it was
You're
announced, there was the
you're replacing me already.
temporarily. But then they were like, "Well, I may be able to." It's like, okay, just let me know. So we had a little thing to slap on the off chance they were able to. And then last night, AR says he can make it. So we redid the cards to have AR there properly, which it's harder on me when they do a bunch of news Friday morning because I have to get stuff out really late at night. But then the cards are easy because it's all day for um, Lost to put them together for me to help him revise them and everything. Instead, we're getting news like last night at like 11 and cards are being worked on at 1 and 2 a.m. and I'm trying to lay them down and make sure they're in the right order, moving notes around and everything.
Yeah, it's a good thing I was out last night for my anniversary because I would have been tempted to open the show notes before that. I didn't
Yeah,
open them till like 11 o'clock this morning.
yeah, they were being
Yeah, I
revised.
didn't.
They were being revised like at 2 or 3 a.m. Like complete order shifting in some places. Because part of it was um, didn't do any notes for the expo because I, we kind of knew we were going to get news from it. So it was why do cards ahead of time when most of them are going to have to be thrown out? But then that leaves us with 4 or 5 to do right at the end. So, yeah.
Procrastination with purpose.
Basically, yeah. So let's go ahead and get to the new because it's funny. There was like because it's been like 5 weeks since last episode, I think.
Something
and
like
and
that.
like and like
Yeah.
and like the whole time was like no news, oh little tiny bit of thing, and then like in the last week it's just been stuff being thrown left and right.
Well, we had the that's why I was free 2 weeks ago, and we decided we didn't want to do one
Well,
because
yeah,
we knew that the V Jump stuff would the V Jump
yeah,
issue would have some stuff, and we knew that the Mega House was be going on.
yeah, and that's why
So
this.
it's not like this is unexpected.
No, it's not unexpected. The episode we purposely put it here, but the news didn't end up necessarily being the news we thought we were going to get. So let's go ahead and jump right to it. First up, So Moriyama put up some early adventure art, which I don't think a lot of people have seen these. I barely remember them, to be honest. He's not even
I
sure where.
maybe I've seen the second one.
Yeah,
I
he's
think I've seen Ty in that pose before in
yeah,
something that was released in
Yeah.
Australia like a long time ago, but that's about it.
yeah.
It looks like his pose in that second one looks like Hikari's in one of their gem figures.
yeah. He's not even
Yeah,
sure.
in the
Oh, you're
Angelon
right.
one, yeah.
That's right.
And, yeah,
That's from the original
that is-
Angelomon figure, isn't it?
Yeah, the Angelon one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I still think the funniest part is him not being sure what they're from. He thinks they're from cards or puzzle or jigsaw puzzles. The top one feels like a jigsaw puzzle.
Yeah.
But yeah,
The
It's-
Devimon art is kind of weird,
yeah.
but it's cool to see it.
It's especially weird because like we've gotten early stuff from almost everything lately except adventure.
Yeah.
So it's kind of weird for this to be thrown in almost like for no reason. Like it was just him going through stuff and going, "Oh, look at this."
Well, we know Digimon. They
Yeah.
always forget about adventure.
Yep. And then this will be the last time we get to talk about the soccer tournament.
Oh,
Aw.
my favourite.
That's
Look.
what we did yesterday. Is we went to a soccer game.
Oh, that's fitting.
That was our anniversary thing. Our tiny little local third level team hosted a top level German team. It was a lot of fun.
I don't think we have much to talk about with it this time, but I still just love that jersey they built onto him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
And that he was there to take photos and everything. It was just fun. I mean, we never did get the clean art of Agumon and Gabumon though, did we? Like we can
no,
yeah, we
no,
can
you see him in the background, but
Yeah.
that's all we get.
yeah, unfortunately. And moving on to something that we actually like these I feel like we got the news about these earlier than any other, and then all of a sudden we got images just quick, which is the 8th series of capsule mascot figures. So, May, how many of these do you have now?
I have all of them, and I've got the next ones on pre-order that's coming out next month.
Can we just say that, like, Tokobon is the best one?
No, he doesn't have his mouth open.
Mm-hmm.
I, I still vaguely wonder if there might be a chase figure in that wave. Because it's the first wave since the first one that only has 4. Tokomon has
right.
2 official profile shots.
Mm.
It feels... Oh, although we did get him with the mouth open for the
It was like it came with Koromon, I think.
Yeah, it
like
was
Yeah.
the 20th anniversary
which I
Digicol.
own for
Yeah.
some reason.
I own that one
don't. I
too.
don't actually. I think my wife bought that.
I believe Think Geek and GameStop had boxes, cases of them.
Yeah.
Oh, I bought mine from Critical Hit in Australia. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure.
But yeah, so the Leomon's also good.
Oh, it's gonna look terrible though, because I
Kunamon
just can tell.
Kunamon looks
Yeah,
nice. The Shellmon look kind of like, I don't want to say he's melting because he kind of looks that way anyways, but
right.
uh,
I think it's good. I think Shelmon might actually be the best one when we actually get the figures, and I feel like Leomon's going to be fucked up in some way, like they all are. I
Yeah,
think Kunamon might be
like
good.
Leomon's just.
I
It's
think
just, it's
Kunamon.
just weird having Leomon and Shellmon, these big guys, and then you've got Tokomon and Kunemon.
well, I think it's a case where Leomon's gonna look the worst because Leomon looks the best.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Shellmon, there's very little to fuck up on that paint wise.
Yeah.
Mm.
So, who would you like to see next, May? Since you collect all these,
Um. Next one would be the version 4. So I would like Palmon and Monochromon. It's assuming the next one is the version 4, because this one would be the version 3, and we've already had the version 3 as well last time. So if we get the version 4 stuff, that's going to be pretty cool, because we get options like wait, no, Leomon's from the version 4 as well, isn't he? Now I think about
Leomon's
it,
from,
he's from the version 4.
yeah.
Yeah, so
They hinted at Palmon and Piomon being from the same V-pet as him. They didn't
yeah,
say
okay, so
they didn't say if that meant anything, but they did hint at it a bit, which was kind of
okay,
interesting.
so I would say that the next one would be, so the version 9 would be version 4 from the VPET. So I would really like Monochromon and a Palmon, because they were both in it. I'm trying to think of who else was in that one. Who was the ultimate?
I don't think they're being that specific with them, to be honest, though.
I know, but I'm just saying who I would guess. I just want to really see Monochromon, because Monochromon's like one of my weird
Yeah,
little faves. Like I just really
he
like him for
doesn't.
some
Yeah,
reason.
he doesn't get enough love. It's a cool
Yeah, like
design.
he hasn't really been in the anime besides, like, just kind of being
Yeah, he was just sort
non-sentient.
of in the first 2 episodes, sort of a
Oh, he was
monster.
Gotsamon's
Oh, he
evolution.
rode he dragged Edamon's cart, didn't he?
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. He's more like a monster. But in 02, he
He was the first monster of the week
he,
in 02.
I think even though he was got someone evolved into him, didn't he? In the World Tour.
Oh, maybe.
I don't remember either. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what comes up and what May's
No,
force.
I want to derail this entire podcast talking about Monochromon.
We already
He's really good.
we had that
He's
happen.
like Bear.
We had that happen last time.
Bear and Dinosaur.
And now, okay. So the next thing is the adventure multi cases. Is it just me, or does this seem like the random item that everyone seemed actually really excited about when normally everyone's like, ah ha ha, they're doing more whatever
We
generic
like
thing.
real stuff.
Yeah,
Real stuff's
but
really
like
useful.
Yeah.
We're adults.
but like everyone seems specifically excited about these. Like
Yeah,
no
because
no
they're
no
fucking
These are
cool.
functional.
no I
These are
know,
really functional.
but like when they
and
do
professional.
but when they do the wallets or whatever, no one really cares. You know what I mean?
But I know, because these ones look more professional. Like you
Yeah.
could just bring this to a business meeting and nobody would fucking blink an eyelid. If you bring like one with fucking Omegamon's dick hole on it, like if someone's gonna say, "Oh, that's Omegamon's dick hole," and that's not, you can't just bring that to a meeting. But these ones just look like normal business stuff. Like
He
you could
could
just bring
censor
it.
his dick hole like Fusion did.
Yeah, like basically. But I'm just saying that, like,
See,
just bring this to a meeting. No one's gonna blink an eyelid.
everyone just remember that the podcast being mature isn't just for my mouth, it's also for them.
Yeah,
Everyone's like
I don't get this.
everyone's like, Mark, you just don't want to have to worry about commenting. It's like, no, it's for all three of us, and that I don't want to deal with it if it
Like,
comes up.
I
have
would
the clean
censor
podcast.
myself if you told me to.
Yeah.
But if
Okay,
May's
so
gonna say
yeah,
dick hole,
yeah.
I'm gonna say dick hole.
Fantastic.
Everyone
Okay,
can say dick hole.
let's talk about the
Dick hole.
actual products.
Dick hole. Okay, I want these. That's the point. I'll probably get the grey one because, like,
Big or
I don't know. I feel like
big or
grey.
small, May?
Probably. I would actually probably use this in meetings, and I do have a big one of these, but it's fucking boring. It's just a black one. But like, if I just had like one that was cool, I'd probably just go with the big ones so I can fit more stuff.
Yeah,
like,
the small one doesn't seem that useful to me. I think this
You know,
big one would be more useful. Like, if I had an iPad, I would definitely want to get this.
So weird thing.
Yeah.
Weird thing about the small one. Because they put up tons of photos of this. We tried to throw as many on the title card as we could. Does the small one not seem to match? Like they have the photo of her holding it. Does that not seem to match up with the size of what they show in it?
I don't know how she's holding it. She's like she just got her fingers wrapped around it. Like
Well,
why?
what I mean is like they're showing her holding it, but then like if you go up, they show dollar bills in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems
The size
too
doesn't.
big.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I don't know what's going with these. These are basically $35 after intermediaries. Sorry, go ahead.
Also, why are there dollar bills in it?
Yeah, I mean, my eyesight's not very good, but I don't think they would be dollar bills. I think they'd be 1,000 yen notes, wouldn't they?
No, those are. I mean,
Yeah,
those are
I'm
those
trying.
are American dollar bills, and I also really
What
want
the
to know
fuck?
if that's
That's
a
weird.
the
I-
country's
That's fucking weird.
passport is on the other side.
My assumption would be is it's just something like movie money they had someone had sitting around at the photo shoot.
Oh, like Monopoly money or something.
Yeah.
They're
Well,
digidollars.
they probably do. Oh yeah, they do accept American dollars apparently in the digital world. But what I'm thinking is like I think it would be prop money because if they get it from an actual photo shoot, I'm sure photo shoots have props. So's the phone's probably.
Oh, I know,
also-
but I'm saying we don't know where the photo shoot would have. It could have been, just a random place that. You know what I mean? We don't know where. I mean, for all we know, it was a photo shoot of stuff in the U.S. with other products.
Mm.
Mm.
You know what I mean? We don't. That's
Yeah.
what I mean. We don't really know anything about it. But yeah,
Yeah,
so
I still want to know where the.
Oh, no,
country's
so do
passport
I.
is on the other side. That's
it's kind of weird this one because like the black one has the standard art of the Digimon. The blue one has the crests.
mhm.
Does the blue one? I feel like the blue one looks nicer, but I like the black one better. The actual like color and look to the material.
Yeah, as I
Yeah.
said, the grey one would go with more outfits. So if you're carrying it, it fits in more. The blue one would kind of stick out more.
And-
Look, it reminds me of airplane seating. The blue one. Like,
Mm,
Yeah, you're.
yeah.
It has that look to it.
Yeah.
I still like how it went up, and May initially there was a quick response from May. It was like, ah, shit, or something like that.
Yeah, and it was just. I think it was just. I don't think it was even. Shit. I think it was just.
Yeah.
It was just a uncomfortable grunt.
So May, how many of the 4 are you going to buy?
I'm just gonna buy one, and it'll be the grey one of the big one. Like I don't really need all of them.
Yeah, this feels like one that a lot more people seem excited to order than
Yeah,
this type of
as I
stuff normally
said,
does. We'll see.
we're adults. Like we want
Yeah.
things that we can actually use that have
And,
Digimon on them.
and now that we've talked about the useful thing that we as adults buy, now it's time for the completely unuseful thing that we as adults also buy. May, you had ordered yours from Japanese stocks. You got yours in what, a month and a half ago, I think.
I got it in March,
Yeah.
so almost 3 months ago.
It's Digivolving Spirits Black War Greymon. It's hard to have much to say about this one because it is the same figure to the point the instruction sheet is the same. They just swapped out the number and name.
Yeah, but I
Mhm.
mean, I was excited because I have the original Japanese evolving, like not evolving sports, but evolving Black War Greymon
Yeah.
that I bought in Japan 2016. So I was able to compare the two, and holy fuck nuts, it's such an improvement. Like the claws are just such a nice material and color. It just looks back so nice, and in comparison, the old one, which I just thought was fine originally, looks so dull next to it. It's
Yeah.
just such an improvement.
It's one of those cases where when you look at, and the same thing kind of happened with Wargame, and it was like, oh, a lot of people went, oh, they're re-releasing the old toy. And then when you see
Yeah.
them side by side, you're like, oh, they're really nothing, like, they have similarities to how they transform, but they're not alike at all, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. So nothing else has been announced for Digivolving Spirits, but they've certainly hinted at a lot of figures. So we'll see
Well,
what.
we've seen Piamon at least. Like we've
Yeah.
seen the Piamon and Garuda
Yeah,
one.
but they didn't mark her with a number though, which was kind of
Yeah.
strange. So we'll see.
Which is sad because they were every second month before, and I was really enjoying that because it was just like, okay, I get one a month, like one every 2 months. I was really
Yeah.
excited, like, oh.
Yeah. And
You're my
now
favorite.
and now after I can hear myself over someone's something in the background, I
Sorry.
think. Yeah. So
That
now
might be the clock. There's a clock above me.
okay, that's possible. So after half a year of not hinting but like trying to track that information, man, we have gobs of USV pet stuff now, don't we? Like just
If one more person tags me on this on Facebook, I'm gonna fucking block them.
Yep, I had a person tag me on Facebook too.
Like I mean, appreciate they
uh,
tagged me and everything. Like when JB High Five put it up, people like about 10 people tagged me. When
see,
it came up on EB Games, 10 people tagged me. I'm just like, yeah, I know, I
see
knew.
Yeah,
for
I
I've
had
had
like
them from
three. I
2017.
for
had
me
like 5 people tag me when Cyber Sleuth was announced.
Yeah,
for me it's not the tagging, it's the response to the post going, so can we pre-order these? It's like more it
That's
with the will.
that's because I always imagine that your friends actually know you're involved with Digimon. Where I have to,
So
my
so
Facebook. I don't mention the Facebook on podcast.
so,
I
so
don't mention the podcast on Facebook. So
some do, some don't. Oddly, the ones who do aren't on Twitter, or at least aren't on my Twitter, so I don't know. Mine though are always where I I post the news, and then the response back to the news is something that's answered in it. So with the V pets, the colors like lined up exactly with what we got originally.
I love it.
Yeah. So it is the 20th anniversary. It's just the 20th anniversary ones in English. We don't know the situation with the eggs, and Bandai won't say because was chatting back and forth with Bandai to try to get details. It's like, so how are the special eggs being done? Are there special eggs? Are they just all on each one? How will there be a fifth? Maybe a comic they're like, we're doing four, and that is the only response they gave to any inquiry regarding the special eggs.
I'm just more interested about if they have that online feature because
They
that
do.
was
They do.
fucking baller.
Our understanding is that they do not. That's just gone. That does not
That would
exist.
make. I mean, it would make sense that that would happen because
I
they
mean,
would have to set up a website.
I mean, it wasn't on the Pendulum or the X either, was it? I believe that's
No,
just
no, but
gone.
it was just the version 20th.
No, but that's what I mean. Bandai removed it from later stuff, and I would assume there's some revisions here that we don't know about yet.
I mean, I really like the online stuff. I wish it was in the pendulums.
Yeah. So the prices on these are really good. The U.S. prices are 20 each.
mm-hmm.
Uh,
It's like
ca-
40 in
It's
Australia. I
really
like to
nice.
point out.
Canadian stores have 30. The Australian stores have actually kind of bounced around. To be honest, I've seen everywhere from 30 to 40.
Yeah, that's because EB Games is more expensive, but they price match, and JB
Okay.
Hi-Fi isn't. But everyone will go to EB Games and price match it because EB Games, I believe, have it at 38, and JB Hi-Fi
Okay.
have it for cheaper. The annoying thing is you can't pick the color when you pre-order it, so I'm not pre-ordering it because I just want the blue one.
You could on JB Hi-Fi. I think those may
Really?
have sold out. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Those. I'm actually opening the tabs up right now to look at JB
I'll
Hi-Fi.
probably just be price matching at EB Games because I'm a
Oh
member.
wait, there's one left. They have the
The
red
blue
one,
one?
or
I want
the
the red one.
brown
Let me
one.
have the red one.
Literally every place seems to have a different name for this damn color. I've seen.
I just don't like how they call Digimon device. That it seems super fake.
Oh no, here's the thing. There's been Digimon, Digivice, Digimon, Digidevice, Digimon Device, um, every name under the sun.
It
Bandai
just sounds like a fake thing.
Bandai seems to be calling it Digivice.
Yes, which is also wrong.
Yeah.
I think Digimon device is actually, despite it sounding super ultra fucking fake,
Well,
it just also
here
sounds what it is.
here's what I believe is happening as far as the name and everything goes. I believe Bandai's point is hey, it's the anniversary of the anime. Here's a 20th anniversary product. We do not want to
Yeah.
have to deal with licensing to actually use any of the stuff we would have to associate it with the anime. So we've pulled out all the old designs, even though it's not really the anniversary of that in the US or Japan.
Mm.
I believe that's kind of the situation. So the plaque card at an event used the anime logo, said 20th anniversary. It doesn't say that on the box here because that might get them in trouble if they did that. But I believe that's basically. But the manual says it's 20th anniversary. So
Mm.
I think that's what's happening here is they're releasing it as an anime tie-in product, but they don't want to have to deal with any of the licensing stuff.
It's like its own bootleg.
Almost. Um, I would have liked, like, I know why they did those 4 colors, because I believe those all are version 1 colors. I would have liked a more range of them. Like, throw in some new stuff like the Wave 2s from Japan, because those were some wild and crazy colors.
Mm.
And I still can't get it out of my head that there's going to be a 5th one as a con exclusive. They haven't announced that, but if they have the eggs, it feels like they're going to do that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And how much is it going to cost at the con and then immediately after the con? 40 or 50 and then 150 to 200?
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Good price, and I'm glad people will be able to get them, and we'll see what else pops up. It would be very strange for them to just decide they're going to do this one hand for no real reason, doesn't it?
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. I do like the retro packaging, though, to be honest.
Oh, I
Oh yeah,
love the
for
clear
sure.
packaging.
Yeah. And moving on from that, man, we got some good. They did some good reference book updates.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's a
so
good. One of my favorite new lines too.
yeah. So let's start off with Erismon, which, not really new information for him here, and the same for
Mm-hmm.
Bulkomon. Although I do like that we have nicer art of Bulkomon now.
Yeah,
Mm.
Um, and the greatest Digimon of all, Surfymon.
Surfymon.
I
I love Surfymon so much.
Yeah,
He's
and
dumb. He's stupid, but I love him.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And is it weird? We were just talking about him like a couple episodes ago, weren't we?
I think so.
Because he was
I talk
created
about him a lot.
because he was from one of the fan competitions, and the design was done by the artist from Next.
Mm.
Mm.
I can hear myself again. The other, I don't know. It's such a dumb design that works so well.
Yeah,
And
it's an ultimate too. That's the best
yeah,
part.
and then the greatest Digimon of all, Pusumon.
Of course,
Adorable.
I
Do,
love this line so
do you
much.
know how many fucking messages I've gotten about this guy because the pacifier matches Koenma exactly?
Oh my god.
Yeah. Then there's Pasurimon, who he was the one we got the paper craft of.
Mm.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
That's adorable.
which is kind of weird because in my head he kind of looks like the paper craft, and this doesn't. Like they gave him the smile and the little buck teeth,
Mm-hmm.
which is nice. And then it fits in well as Ultimate Chaosmon.
Sure.
Yeah.
Why not?
This does not fit in. Like, at least Surfymon you can kind of say, okay, kind of fits, still cute, but what the fuck?
Well, I think
There's a nice weird synergy between
yeah.
Pokemon and Surfymon, and then this fucker at the end.
Well, I believe the synergy was generally, hey, look, 2 game ones, and then one that doesn't match at all. Although it kind of matches because of the visuals. Then the second batch we had 2 game ones, and one doesn't match at all. The problem is he doesn't have any visual thing that kind of makes it look like he might fit in.
Yeah.
So instead, it's 2 baby Digimon, then weird guy who doesn't have a body but has hands and stuff.
Mm.
Yeah,
You
and
almost look at the slide and think that that's somehow meant to be Erismon's ultimate form.
and
That would be a plot twist.
And
Yeah.
then moving on with yet more new Digimon stuff, we got Jazamon and all of his evolutions, like all at the same. Like they showed the art 3 months ago, and then nothing, and then just he's there. All of his evolutions are there. We got all the names, and I don't know. The second form is my favorite, Jozatomon, because it's just like a weird little VTOL.
Yeah, the first two I'm good with.
The third one, Jazarikmon, it feels like he's meant to be a fighter jet, but he kind of looks
Probably.
a little goofy for my tastes.
Huh.
And then
Yeah.
Metallic Dramon, which is just Volcanic Dramon, but metally.
Yeah.
It's funny. Everything we said about Jazamon when we first found out about him feels like it applies to all 4 of these. So it kind of feels like Lynx is wrapping up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Well, are we getting Re-Rise soon? As well?
Mm,
I think
Look-
everyone's moving to Re-Rise, right?
We're getting there.
Yeah. That is why we
I
have
think within the
notes.
middle. Yeah.
Don't get ahead of Mark now.
Oh yeah, that was sorry. I thought that for some reason that was super old news that we'd already spoken about. Nope, we haven't.
It feels super old because we just had a bunch of other stuff drop on us after that.
So
Yeah,
let's
yeah,
go.
yeah.
Let's go ahead and get to Rearise, which is first up. Though we got Erismon's ultimate form, but this is his evil part spiral form, which they aren't giving us his name. No one have anything to say about Mr. Spiky?
No, he's
Scary.
spiky.
Okay, I guess we'll have more to talk about this guy in the future.
Yeah, I'm sure that's not a good sign for him in the plot, but
I'm not sure. Now let's talk about the Rearise thing, which May's already hinted at, sort of.
I'm excited.
yeah, this is one of my favorite things
Now-
from the
Now,
we've gotten.
what's weird about the international announcement? Okay, I can really hear myself now. About the international release of Rearises, they didn't actually say, they just said Digimon Rearise coming soon on the Japanese account, showing 3 English, Korean, and Chinese logos. Technically speaking, they haven't told us it's coming, but it feels like I don't know what else this would be if it wasn't the game coming out.
It's coming soon. Just a
Yeah.
vague
Coming.
soon. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Soon is better than we don't know.
here's the thing. This has
Man,
this
I can't remember. I can't wait for how many posts we're going to get on Reddit saying, "Hey, is Re-Rise out yet?
Oh, it's already started.
Do we have news for it yet? Because I'm fucking sick of getting it for Survive."
It's
Oh God.
yeah. So this has to be like June, July, or August. It feels like when they put it up, it meant like soon, doesn't it?
They said soon, yeah.
I said
But
soon. It could be like
no,
a year.
but soon could be a year.
Yeah, soon could be the end of the year. Yeah, it be patient. We know it's coming eventually.
Yeah, we will all get to see.
And coming soon sounds way better than coming eventually.
We all get to
Yeah.
see. We all get to see Mr. Spiky.
Yay.
And now let's talk about the one that I'm pretty sure at this point we're all kind of fucking tired of, as was said just a minute ago.
Oh fuck yes, no.
Okay,
Yeah, right.
so let's preface that to explain why. The producer fucking told us we weren't going to hear anything for a while. It did not vanish by surprise. Like, I don't want to sound mean, but people, like, how do people both seem to hang on Habu's every word and completely ignore everything he
It depends what he has
says?
to say. If he
Yeah.
says something that people care about or that make them happy, they'll remember that. But if it's
But
something that
like he
they don't want to
literally,
hear,
like, we knew the game was announced early. He said they're not going to say anything for a while because they're going to work on the game. And even by the end,
that's the problem. They have to work on the game.
Yeah.
how dare they?
but even
Yeah, they
but
should just have it done.
but like the reason why they're not showing stuff, just to kind of explain, we all saw by the end of them showing stuff, they were kind of just repeating over and over because they didn't have anything else to show.
Yeah.
And it becomes negative if they keep doing that over and over and over again. So they just went.
Also, and it's like the timing of the big Survive announcement. It had to be synced with other stuff going on.
Yes.
So it's probably they had to announce that it was happening earlier than maybe they would in a normal cycle.
Well, it was basically a case of either it gets announced at some point, or they can announce it when the big Digimon event is happening. Like that is their choice is. And they chose now, maybe they shouldn't have, but it made sense to announce it in concert with that.
Yeah, I would have. It makes sense.
So would I. But yes, so he said stuff should show up either right before summer or right into summer. The kind of embarrassing part is where he actually has to go, no, the game's not canceled. It never seemed
why would
like
anyone? Why what would make anyone believe it was canceled?
Everyone, because it was like Mark and I can both like like to
Like
talk about
like
this, but like
people
everyone
are
on
having
Reddit thought it was cancelled.
no, but here's the problem: is it's like people having fucking strokes over nothing. Like how many games do like AR and May? You both follow games to a not like
Moderately, yes.
to a decent degree. How
Mm.
often do games get announced? They show off a few things, and then maybe you don't hear about them for a year or two, even. It's
All this, like, remember, we
Yeah.
haven't heard anything about the new Pokemon game since the last announcement in February,
yeah, but yeah, it
and no
people
one's having a stroke over that because that's normal.
everyone needs to calm down. Because here's the thing: let's say
Yeah, they have to rewrite it to give that girl a Scottish accent.
yeah, I
They
mean
just
Yeah.
completely
Oh,
didn't
like the
expect
meme, yeah.
that. Yeah.
I mean let's go ahead and pretend the game is canceled. What is you freaking out going to do to help that?
Well, they'll clearly work faster,
Yeah.
and they make it happen, right?
The game has very clearly been
That's where they can get their hack on and find all the assets that they abandoned and create the game themselves.
the game has
Like,
been
oh shit, some cunt on Reddit's unhappy.
the
They'll
game
make the game they want instead of the one Bandai wants.
it has been canceled to replace with Atmon Survive.
No, it's been cancelled to replace with more Cyber Sleuth, but just a port. Apparently, someone on fucking Reddit was flipping their shit over it and was like, "Oh, why are we getting a port?"
May
Yeah,
open the notes.
I know, but I
So freak out when we change the title card.
I want it. I don't care.
So moving on, Hacker's Memory might be coming to Switch. Apparently
I'm
replacing
sure.
Survive, and Survive is canceled.
Yes,
That's
basically.
the theme of the episode so far is me
You-
getting
you-
ahead of
The
everybody.
the theme
You
of the
heard-
ep-
you heard
the
it
theme
here
of
first.
the theme of the episode is May's very upset at everybody and everything, and she has to jump ahead to deal with this anger.
Mm.
Yeah.
So a couple Spanish retailers listed it for. I don't believe they both said October 30th. I think one did, and we just didn't see what the other said. It had generic stand-in box art. One said Cyber Sleuth plus Hacker's Memory, which we think might have been a typo. We're not sure. But we will see because it feels like this wasn't just out of nowhere, probably.
Yeah, this is probably them getting a little ahead of themselves. And,
Yeah. So
yeah.
we'll
I
see.
mean, we'll have an announcement for that hopefully at some point.
Yeah.
Soon.
I mean, the smart move, especially since it looks like this is a full price game, would be to have both of them, but we don't know at this point.
Yeah. And
It
since Cyber Sleuth is off the PS Network.
yeah. It really should be like Cyber Sleuth complete and just have everything.
Especially because if you only own a Switch, you in theory haven't played the original yet.
True, but we'll see what comes up here. It feels like this is gonna happen though, and it's not just someone accidentally did something stupid.
Yeah, I think, and I do think the smart move would be to have both games. Yeah. No guarantee that's what's going to happen. Now, the impossible fantasy is that they add the original Cyber to existing versions of Hacker's Memory on PlayStation.
Well, see, my thought was more that okay, if they're porting both to Switch, you could just do a complete on PS4 on Steam, and just that's what it is, and it just comes with it comes with the various DLC, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see. And now we get to talk about the mess of stuff that just showed up pretty much yesterday. So Mega Hobby Expo 2019 Spring was realistically it was yesterday, but the date would be today because of the time difference. First off, can we just talk about how at every toy show they have an entirely different giant Digimon banner?
I'm a big fan of that.
And not only that, they haven't really needed to change it, and they still have, because Black War Greymon and Omegamon have been like the ones they've been showing off for half a year in color at this point. And they had the cases on sale. Omegamon was the cases were on display. Omegamon was on that Omegamon figure really does look amazing. They were selling Black War Greymon and Mochimon early, and we got to see the best Shikishi ever by Kenji Watanabe. Oh. I mean, that is just.
They're all amazing.
Black
This is incredible.
Black War Greymon attacking with Mochimon.
I want them to. I want these two to talk existential philosophy together.
It,
Hmm.
it just works so well with Mochimon. And we didn't find out who won that or if there were any prints of it, but hopefully we get more images of it.
I'm gonna steal it.
And then basically right when the doors opened, people ran over to Digimon display and got photos of Precious Gem, Beelzebumon, and Behemoth,
Mm,
which is in full color.
yeah,
And I have to say, this looks pretty fucking spectacular. This one. I mean,
it's all shiny and chrome.
now there's something kind of interesting, and the press photos show a different stand than photos from the event. If you look at like all the press photos showed on a very nice like stand that they use at these events commonly. If you look at photos that were taken later though, it looks shockingly like the Angelomon stand, just rotating instead of in color. So it kind of makes me wonder if we will actually get this stand.
Hope so. I like the stand.
Because the stand in all the press images is a standard display stand. It's just a riser with a flat thing spinning it around. The one from people at the event, though, it really looks exactly like the Angelomon stand. It just rotates instead of lights up. And this is kind of like the one where you really need that kind of stand for, I think. The paint on this is just amazing. Although people are upset about this one.
People are always upset about everything.
Do you know what people are upset about?
No, I've been like asleep for 2 days straight.
Are they afraid it got canceled after it got
No.
announced?
Blast mode is the one with green eyes, not normal, and this one has green eyes.
Well, I guess it's the other. Like, do you know how many fucking times
Throw
I've
it
seen
in the
Agumon with
garbage.
different
It's
fucking
trash.
pose?
Now, here's the thing.
It's
Now, here's the
over.
thing. This is probably a hand-painted prototype. This may not be final colors.
Not be final, right? We saw it.
Nope.
Like,
Nope.
well, here's the thing. Like, I understand if someone's upset about that, to the point of they go, "Oh, I wish it had the proper eyes." Not like actually like being actually upset though. Like, if that's the worst thing about this figure, this is a like it.
Is there a change.org petition I can sign to get this changed?
Oh well, they all work.
Yeah, I mean, like just looking at the photos, everything about this look like it just looks amazing. It's hard to like if the eyes are the biggest negative on. I'm not even the hugest Tamers fan, and even I'm going, ooh, this might be nice to get. I don't know why I want it. I don't even specifically care. It just looks that fucking good. It's dated for 2020 at the moment. Hopefully they will fix the eyes. If not, I'm not really worried about it. They've swapped his eyes around multiple times before in the past. So we'll see. It's a good looking figure. It feels like this is another expensive one. What are we going to say? $200? $250?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
precious gem. So yeah.
And now, like when everyone saw this last night, everything just blew up. Like we knew it was coming, but we kind of all went, well, they say it is, but who really knows? UL Force Vidramon, and holy shit. What do you guys have to say about this one?
I'll get this one probably.
Everybody who keeps adding me about getting a V-Team Reanime better buy this damn thing.
Well, here's the other thing.
Because it costs money. They want to have to do nothing to get something.
Well, here's the other thing, and this is, I want to word this properly. Anyone who has complained that they only do stuff from Adventures and Tamers and that they would like stuff from X, Y, Z, video game, whatever, if you like UL Force Vidramon and you want that stuff and there's plenty of time to save up for this, I would get this figure because this is the one where if it doesn't sell, you only get Adventure and Tamers for the rest of your life.
Yeah, I mean, it's the whole voting with your wallet premise, right?
This is the like. Here's the thing, and
it's put up or shut up.
Yeah, this is like, and here's the thing, this may not be branded V-Tamer when it comes out, but that's why it's coming out.
I hope it's maybe it'll be branded Cyber Sleuth because he's
Well,
so
here's the
damn
thing.
useful.
Here's the thing.
in that
No,
game.
it's going to be branded Savers, duh.
It could be it could be branded
Oh my
Savers.
god, I forgot he was even in Savers.
Here's the thing.
Everyone does.
It could be branded Savers. It could be branded any number of video games. It could just be a generic Digimon branding. But this is
It's VV.
for V-Tamer. That's why this is coming. This is literally
Oh yeah, there you go.
like here's the thing. This is realistically not going to be out. This may be out a year from now at the soonest.
Yeah, branded Decode.
This is literally the one where if this is a character you like, if you have the ability to save up over a year for it, and if you want a wider range of stuff, this is literally the put up or shut up moment. There is no arguing with that. This is kind of the one where if it doesn't do well, that's it for expanded type stuff. This is arguably the one that people wanted Zero Maru stuff for literally 20 years at this point, I think. And this is like just from the prototype, like standing there lit from above, this looks fucking amazing, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I really do hope it's branded V-Tamer on the box. It has new art from Yabuno. Like, this is the one that, come on, do something fucking spectacular with this one. Because normally, like some people, people go, oh, Frontier and Savers don't get enough. Frontier got a Blu-ray box, Savers realistically get one, and they still pop up in stuff.
Mm-hmm.
V-Tamer it will get a little corner in V-Jumper. It goes, hey, do you love V-Tamer? It got a low-resolution digital release 2 or 3 years ago that you can go buy.
Arcadimon made a couple cameos.
Yeah.
That's all. Yeah.
Yeah, but like that is, it looks so nice. Like, this is one that when it posted last night, people just fucking exploded. Like, because this really was like the shock. Because even when they said they were going to do it, everyone kind of went, yeah, you're going to do it, we're sure. Because, until you see, even when you see a prototype, it may not come out. How many Diablomon figures did we see before we got Digivolving Spirits? Because we saw, it was,
the prototype.
We saw D-Arts, we saw Fig Arts 0. Yeah, I want to say 1 or 2, but like, we got nothing for Diablomon for a long time, and I want this fucking... Like, even when we get stuff with Vidramon, it's always generic Vidramon art where they kind of go, this is included because of V-Tamer, but wink wink. Like, the acrylic cards.
Mm-hmm.
Where there was a random Vidramon card for no reason.
Yeah.
And it was just generic Vidramon art, and no one could figure out why it was there, and everyone just sort of went, wink wink V-Tamer.
I think people knew why it was there.
Well, but I mean, that's why it's there, but there's no explanation or branding, or it's not even an image that looks like Zero Maru. It's just the most generic Vidramon image possible. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I want this figure. I'm sure May's gonna get this.
Oh yeah, like I'll get this one, even though it's like not one of the ones that I said I would get. Like it's just because I like him and I want more V-Tamer. Yeah, this is good with my books.
Yeah, this is literally, it's not gonna be out for a year. If you want it, save up for it, people. This is really one that I want, and I'm really looking forward to seeing it painted. And I'm seeing how they're gonna do the stand where it's kind of like at an angle.
Yeah.
Because like, it's an interesting pose, but I'm interested to see how they're going to do that. And moving on from, it still looks nice. Toei and Bandai announced they're going to have a panel at Anime Expo called The Future of Digimon. And
this is exciting.
So here's the actual description.
Just the fact that they're doing it.
The actual description says, come to a Digimonumental panel presented by Toei Animation and Bandai Namco Entertainment America. Join us as we talk about the Digimon brand, watch new trailers, a Q&A session, giveaway prizes, and more. So there's a few teas there. So one thing to remember is this is a month before DigiFest, so watch new trailers. I'm not expecting anything for the new movie, trailer
Yeah,
wise.
yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
Unless we get a surprise trailer in a few weeks as a teaser, I'm not
Mm-hmm.
expecting a premiere. It'd be nice, but I'm not expecting it. Something new for Survive, maybe, because it feels like that's around the right time frame.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the most common question that I've been asked since this came up though was at Mondub, and the answer is they don't tell us any. They're not gonna tell us anything
Here's
now.
here's the thing: is if someone in the crowd doesn't at least ask about an Atmon dub, because there is a Q&A session. If someone doesn't ask them about them, I'm cursing the houses of everyone who attends Expo.
I
I didn't even think about an Atmon dub, to be
I
honest, as
want,
a
when
possibility.
that microphone, when they
Yeah.
turn that microphone on to allow the line of fans to ask questions, I want to see a line of 20 people
look,
in line to ask questions, and once the first person asks about an Atmon dub, I want half of them to
Yeah.
sit down.
look. Here's the way it works. There, I will be there when people line up and ask. If no one asks, you will just random because no doubt someone, probably Elizabeth, will be recording the panel.
Mm-hmm.
If no one asks, you will hear my voice booming out. What about Atmon? If no
Yeah,
one asks,
yeah.
because I will be at
Mm.
Anime
Well,
Expo.
I imagine they'd probably do the get in front of the microphone type situation,
Yeah,
but
yeah, but
yeah,
you forget I can be really fucking loud.
that's true.
Yeah.
But yeah, but the fact that the future of Digimon panel first off implies that Digimon has a future in the West, which is good. That right there
I
is.
mean, the thing is
I
that
mean, they're not going to go up there and say you're getting nothing.
but that's also
They
marketing.
might.
Here's the thing, though. That's also marketing speak. Because here's the thing: we know a movie's coming. We know a game's coming.
Yeah.
Re-Rise may be out by that point. Even if they don't say anything, there is a future. It there's a future
Mm.
regardless of what they say. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can just hope that they have some more information, information on Re-Rise's Western release if it isn't out already. Maybe information on how we're getting the adventure movie. Like it might be early to talk about that, but
Yeah.
just even them talking about an adventure movie, the new movie
Yeah.
happening suggests that we're going to get it somehow.
Yeah.
Mm.
Maybe this time they will be able to announce the cast if they can have people sign NDAs.
Ooh, that's really ambitious, but that's asking a lot. But I mean, even it may even have information on a hacker's memory for the Switch.
That's true also, because Hackers Memory feels like that's the type of thing they might announce at E3,
Mm,
which is
maybe
in the next few weeks.
about a month before.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it'll be
Yeah, it's
interesting
like
to
in a
see.
couple of weeks, isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah, it's like June 16th, somewhere around there. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I know it's usually a little bit after. It's usually a week or so
Yeah,
after my birthday.
but yeah, I will be at the convention the whole time to annoy anyone who wants to be annoyed about Digimon or anything else. They gave me an industry badge.
Mm.
Hey, congratulations.
Yeah, it's I was at Anime Central last week. I didn't run my panel there for reasons I wish I could complain about more, but it would be hypocritical of me since I'm the one who turns down panels for my con. So I guess I shouldn't do that for ASEN.
No,
Uh,
you shouldn't, but if you want to, you're welcome to.
I sort of kind of understand their logic, but
Yeah.
anyway, that's sort of unrelated. But yeah, even then, I had a billion people come up and ask me about what was going on, talk about Digimon. So
Now, do you think they recognize you more from your stuff or from the podcast?
from the well,
Or just a
it's
combination of knowing you as a Digimon guy?
mostly it's at conventions. It's mostly the panel.
Yeah.
At
But
conventions, it is mostly yeah.
that's why I was curious because you said you didn't have a panel there.
No, I didn't run a panel, but I've run it before, and people
Oh, okay.
recognize me from
Okay. That makes
before.
sense.
I did want to one. I did have one. Someone in Artist Alley though.
Oh yeah, I
The
saw that.
Yeah, I saw that
Heroes.
too.
Shout out to Heroes of Boredom. They did recognize me. They're friends of the pod. So yeah, Heroes of Boredom. Said they listened to the podcast. They gave me a very nice Crest of Knowledge keychain.
Yeah, that was incredible.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
that was a good image you posted of that.
That was very cool of them.
Yeah.
So
Do we have anything else to say about Anime Expo or any other conventions?
No.
I hope we see. I hope this is a good trend.
Yeah, well, I know I will be there. I believe Lizmet said the one day she was going to the convention was going to be that day.
I mean,
Yeah.
they draw what 5 million people now. I assume people will be there.
Well, I mean people that we know who will take photos and get information.
I I assume some are Digimon fans.
There's been times when there's been stuff at AX and we barely end up getting photos of it. Stuff that's like the metal Garurumon statue last year.
Yeah.
We almost didn't get photos of like a huge statue sitting at a major booth.
Well, it's such a little con. You can't expect everyone to.
Now let's go ahead and talk about not really an expo but a festival. More details for DigiFest this year. So the guest list feels like exactly what it should be. It's all the actors for the kids, all the partners, Ayumi Miyazaki name, and a lot of them. We're looking at what looks to be new stock photos of them. Although one of them I want to talk about specifically is the one of Junya Ikeda a younger photo of him for some reason.
No, I don't have the old photo. Though.
He looks like 5 or 10 years younger than he has for anything I've ever seen him in.
Surgery?
No, because he doesn't look like that now, as far as I know.
Unless he's just had surgery and it's a really new photo.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, it was sort of like where we used to come in on the Hitomi Yoshida one, where it was one from like 15 years ago and it doesn't look like her at all, and now they've updated it to a proper one a while ago.
Yeah.
And but yeah, there's new ones for a few different people. The only person who doesn't get an updated one is Patamon. That's the same one from like 15 years ago, I think. So they did the ticket lotto, which they're getting good prices for those. That's like $80 a ticket.
Jeez.
I mean that they're gonna make a profit just on this thing. They're doing the 2 performances again, so hopefully we'll get stuff relatively quickly. The logo being Adventure Color is interesting, but more so, they aren't using the shorter name DAF anymore. Which never really seemed to fit, to be honest.
No, I always liked DigiFest better.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So we'll see what comes up there, because that's July 28th. It's still kind of weird, like just how big that place is compared to prior ones.
Yeah.
Like the number of seats is just mind blowing. Because do you think some of those seats are going to be tarped over, or do you think they're actually going to fill 2,100 seats?
I mean, if people are paying $80 and they had to have a lottery for it, I imagine they'll fill them.
Yeah.
True. Yeah. And we actually knew a few people who wanted to get in and had issues doing the lottery, so we'll see if there's a wave 2. And now we get to go to the exciting news everyone's been waiting for. V-Jump. Hooray! So we should go over this one specifically. The prior issue of V-Jump said that the next issue would have something serious in it, and a few that got passed around to Big.
It was they went with quantity more than quality.
I'd say they went with quality, but not what we would want as far as content.
I mean, it's not bad stuff.
But here,
it's good. It's okay.
It is.
Good.
So here's the thing. So the thing is, and everyone has to. This is one thing that I think throws you off. Everyone has to remember, V-Jump is a marketing magazine. It is there for marketing.
Oh yeah, it was never. It could never have been something good, but it's nice to.
No, it could have. We've gotten great stuff there before.
Yeah.
But it is a marketing magazine.
Like what people wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So everyone was.
It's also weird because like this was if there was a new series coming in the fall, this would be the time to announce it. Not that there was ever any indication that that's what.
Although I feel like AR, you were really like gung ho that. Not that was gonna happen, but that's what you were like personally.
I was only pointing out that this would be the timing for it, and it's like I'm secretly crossing my finger. I
Yeah.
wasn't expecting it.
No,
And then
yeah,
everyone,
exactly.
and then of course all the replies were like, "Yeah, it's going to be a
It's
VTuber anime wrap on season 2,"
it's
which neither of which I ever expected.
it's going to be a new series. They're going to announce
Yeah.
that they completely started over on Survive and it's 100 times better. We well, that was one of the things
Yeah,
people were
no,
saying.
and
Yeah.
even that was like the expectation would be some sort of a Survive news, but
So it was an interview just discussing the film, which is perfectly nice. The problem is even like the most conservative among us, as far as guessing goes, were kind of holding out hope that it would be something huge.
Hmm.
yeah,
When realistically, it was always going to be something like that.
yeah.
So thanks to
It's
Onke who
a perfectly okay interview.
yeah. So thanks to Onke who went over looked over all of it to make sure there wasn't anything that was there. This is one of the first mentions of some sort of new gadget. She did say the
Which
phrase
may
she
or may not be the
yeah.
goggles we saw before. That's
We'll
sort of weird, yeah.
we'll go over the goggle shortly. She
Hey,
did
if Maya can get ahead of you, I can too.
she did Onke did say the phrasing in the interview really does make it sound like it's adventure centric. That doesn't mean the O2 kids won't show up, but anyone who had the completely wrong and we knew it was wrong fantasy that this would be an O2 movie, that's not happening.
Oh God, no.
No, it was never going to be
No.
O2.
It wasn't,
No.
but I mean, we have all seen people who were holding out hope for that.
Mm.
I
Well,
mean,
get in line with the people who want a Tamer sequel.
yeah, they can get in line. They can get in line right behind Konaka.
I'm not sure if the O2 centric people get in front of the line of the Tamer sequel people or behind the line, but either way,
they would be in front of the line from the Tamers people.
queue up, bitches.
Yeah. So moving on from V Jump, we got two different interviews where Onke translated a bunch of stuff. The first was V Jump Web, which was not quite the interview from V Jump, but covered some of the same stuff. Kinashida saying his favorite was Joe and Gomamon was great.
Mm-hmm.
Seki Hiromi saying Taichi and
Classy.
Agumon isn't shocking.
No, I mean, after Try, I'd say it is Taichi and Agumon really stepped up for me.
Now, I would say for their views they have for the film, Kinoshida's I feel like says more than it seems to, which is Try was very much for people who saw the original
Mm-hmm.
and were seeing not necessarily a fancy sequel, but and mature is not even quite the right word, but a sequel that kind of had grown up with them a bit.
Yeah.
This makes it feel like it's going to be very all ages,
Mm-hmm.
which will be interesting. And Seki Hiromi, she kind of talks about how like the world has changed, so Digimon kind of has to change with it. And it's kind of interesting to think about it in that way.
It sort of is. At the same time, talking about how the world changes is sort of weird when the movie's taking place in 2010, 2011.
But see, I think you can cheat that though, because when Adventure came out, it was when it was, and it kind of plays at a vague future technology, not vibe, but it has stuff there. Here, 2010 isn't now, but it's the world of now. And we've kind of discussed that before, where it's effectively where they're still young-ish, but close enough to today where you could have most modern technologies around without it seeming weird.
I don't know. 2010 is more of like it's more of the genesis of today.
Yeah, but what I mean is you can have them walking around with smartphones. You can have the stuff that is daily life now did exist then, and you could have characters walking around without explaining it as strange.
Yeah,
is what I mean.
You can have it. It wasn't quite as ubiquitous then.
Yeah, and
it wasn't quite as incorporated into society as it is today.
Yeah.
That's sort of it's just weird folk, talking about technology and where it's going. It's really good general advice. It's just that we kind of know where technology goes from 2010 to now. So it'll be interesting to see if they can come up with an interesting take, especially when when you're talking about technology as it applies now. After Try and Atmon both really did well to talk about the connection between digital and analog. So it's like they already talked about that
Yeah.
angle a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see if they can come up with another perspective
Yeah.
that we find interesting.
Yeah. And that kind of goes to where they're asked about their roles for the movie, where Kinoshita talks about him being the producer, and he comes across as someone who's very deeply thinking about stuff and will waft on things, and he doesn't mind being poked and prodded by her at, this makes more sense to do, this is what you should do, and he'll give that the proper thought. And it helps that she was a writer and producer, like she was
Yeah.
what he
Yeah.
is years ago.
Hmm.
And it's interesting that she kind of like doesn't answer the question. She just talks about how, because they're partners, it kind of makes it odd to write lines for, and that it takes extra effort to make things clear because, so in the case of some of them do kind of talk with the same voice. Like Mimi and Palmon feel like they talk kind of with the same voice, if that makes sense.
Mm,
At
No,
times.
not vocally, but I mean like you don't generally often have Palmon disagreeing with Mimi.
Mm, there
I feel like
at
we had them
times.
disagree a bit.
So,
Yeah,
so,
there are times when they do.
yeah,
I get what you're saying. I
yeah.
also know that there are exceptions to
No,
that.
there are, but I think what she's saying is they have to make sure that comes through, because
Yeah,
it can be very easy to just have Taichi and Agumon sitting there and not really saying anything of substance. That has to be pulled out, if that makes sense.
yeah,
Um,
Mm.
then they get a question where they kind of don't, or what evolutions can we expect? And Kinoshita talks about the new gadget and talks about how it has to do with the times it's set in. So we'll see what that means, and also that something, he talks about expanding the story. Does it feel like the gadget's just going to be a cell phone or something?
yeah. Right. It's
Lot,
Yeah.
some
lot,
sort of it's a smartphone digivice.
yeah. Like at
Yeah,
first we thought it was going to be the VR goggles, but it was actually pointed out somewhere around here. Yeah,
yeah. So
it's pointed out in a different interview that we're going to be talking about, where that actually was their early plan, was just to have him have those, and they just went, that visually doesn't work. He needs the goggles.
hmm
Mm.
Yeah, and they talk about the proportions changing a bit, which the proportion thing doesn't really feel that important anymore because we kind of got used to that
no.
over, at this point,
Yeah,
half a decade.
yeah.
Uh,
I mean, we got it. We
yeah,
got it in Try, and if anything, the art style sort of maybe it'll be different with the kind of older skewed arts,
yeah.
with the art style kind of going
Well,
back
the
more
other
traditional.
well the other thing worth
Then
bringing up
then the disparity might be a little
the o-
interesting.
the other thing worth bringing up, and this came up with Trial, is we still haven't seen what they're going to look like in the movie.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
So yeah, so we'll see.
That.
And then there was the interview from a while back from Oda Media plus Spring, where basically they bring up Bonds, which will come up in a few minutes, and
Mm-hmm.
Bonds has been brought up a lot. It was interesting how Joe and Koshiro, the first draft got approved, and Taichi was the one that seemed to work. Like that came up with Try, with them finding voices also, where
Yeah.
Taichi's the one who always seemed. Taichi's always the hardest, except when they originally cast him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the VR goggles, unless they're, and I wouldn't put it past them to lie a little bit, but it appears the VR goggles are gone. Um, they hope to find a place to show us a lot of his early art. I would like to see an art book. I'd still like to see another one for Try because we got one.
Yeah.
They talked about most of the other stuff like growth and stuff we saw in the Mochi we talked about last time.
Mm.
So I don't think there's much to go over for that, but still, it's still kind of interesting. But
Yeah. The notion of bonds, I had
yeah,
a lot of thoughts on, but
yeah,
we
yeah,
can skip ahead to the next
yeah. Let's go ahead and talk
segment.
about Bond. So um, it was on, not really an interview. It was just um, uh, the director of licensing for Toei in Latin America, who's Daniel Castaneda. He was talking about stuff they had coming up for 2020, and one of them, Digimon Last Evolution Kizuna. And that's notable because there's no such title that we're aware of. And if you translate that out, it translates to Bonds, which they've talked about a lot.
Latin America releasing everything early.
Well, here's what's
They're the Kakudo of this episode.
Here's where it gets interesting. I didn't detail it in the article because it kind of became worthless.
Mm-hmm.
As my understanding is he's Toei Animation in the U.S. and he does licensing and stuff in general. It's just that he's also completely in charge of that in Latin America. This was for a Los Angeles event. And LA in this case is not Latin America, it's Los Angeles. It's basically LA Screenings is like an independent showcase for licensing stuff.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, so it was just like he's on site, they were on site, and he just talked about what they would have available next year that would be available. And that kind of became, they're talking about Latin America, which they kind of are, but like they're not going to release this there before Try, as far as I could tell. Because Try still isn't out in Latin America anywhere, is it?
I don't think so.
Wow.
I don't think it is.
Huh.
Because I remember
I know they've been waiting on a dub, but I figured they'd have it some other way.
It may be up subtitled, but everyone there is waiting for the dub, as far as I can tell.
That's rough.
Yeah.
That is rough because they had an okay dub.
Yeah. So the interesting thing about the title is there's like 5 different ways you could take the title, just word-wise. So Digimon Last Evolution Kizuna. You could easily replace Kizuna with Bonds. You could replace Evolution with Digivolution. Adventure might be in there somewhere.
Cue really awful takes about this being the end of Adventure.
My favorite part, honestly, was the instant she saw it, May threw out a joke take for that.
Did I?
That was a joke take, right?
Oh yes. Oh yeah, I remember.
Yeah, you sent me a message. You sent me a message going, "Well, this is gonna be the last for Digimon Adventure, isn't it?"
No, I don't think it was even a joke. I think I was just saying it completely seriously.
Oh.
Was that they imply Last Evolution like it's going to be the last one. It's not. They make too much money.
Well, and then we have the other hot.
I mean, I don't know if it doesn't do well, it might be the end. But
well, that's also where hilariously, and I know we've talked about this before. People keep going, man. I hope the new adventure thing does horrible, so they'll move on to Tamers or Frontier. Whatever.
Yeah, that's the worst take.
Here's why that's the worst take, and we've gone over it before. If adventure doesn't work, their response is their response is not going to be, oh, let's move on to the next thing. Their response can be, okay, the brand doesn't work.
Yeah. Then it's just done.
Yeah.
That's just the end of it.
Yeah.
Like, no, we want it to do well, so they'll say, hey, this is still making us money. Let's see what else we can do.
Now, remember, if you're a huge VPET fan also, buy those VPETs, because it will not only convince them that we want more VPETs, they'll think you're buying it for Adventure's anniversary, making Adventure even stronger.
Oh God.
Or they'll do more VPETs. Like it won't just be Japanese exclusives. We'll get the pendulums.
Well, here's the thing.
In English in our own countries.
There's 2 things worth mentioning. One, they already have made the pendulums in English.
Yeah, no, I mean like released.
I know,
somewhere you can just go up to the shops and buy.
I know. What I mean is I expect them to do it because it's literally just bridging 2 pins, and it changes even the little Japanese stuff to English.
Yes.
That's clearly planned to release in English.
Yes.
And then the X, technically speaking, we've already gotten a US release. Sort of. You could order that from the US without an intermediary.
Yeah, but you can just go up to the shops and buy it. Like I'm saying, like accessible, like just anyone can buy. Like the parents can buy it for their kids without having to go on the computer. You can just go.
I don't think that's happening that often, to be honest. Like I don't know how many kids are going, I want that $20 rock.
I'm just saying.
No. I know what you mean, but like I think most of us just order shit online anyways.
Yeah, but like if you wanted to like immediately, you could just go up to the shops and buy it. I'm saying like ease of like getting it. Also, you have to remember postage is really fucking expensive for other
Oh
places
no!
in the
Oh
world
no! No! Like
sometimes.
no! Like premium Bandai, even premium Bandai US, the postage is like 15 or 20 or something stupid.
Yeah, so it's also accessible and like
Yeah.
you might pay $5 for postage.
Oh no!
Like you'll
Absolutely.
pay something reasonable.
But the thing about the X is, I wonder if that would happen with the X because it technically has been released here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like the Pendulum has no US release. Technically
Yeah.
speaking, we've gotten a release of the X.
Mm.
So we'll see though. I mean, I would like a wider release so if people want it, they can get it. And like $20 is hard to pass up, anyways.
Yeah.
So we'll
So
see.
that's our analysis of the last part of the title.
The first part is Digimon. I think that's because it's going to be part of the Digimon franchise myself.
I mean, it's not going to be the Atmon part,
Hmm.
which we all know is completely separate.
Hey, let's not be sure. Gatchmon could walk across the screen because for some reason they're fucking posting up little Atmon stuff on Twitter
If
lately.
they do,
Okay,
I've said
what?
this.
Okay,
I've
but
said
what
this
is?
before. I've said this before that if they do have smartphones, I want the icons to be the Atmon chips.
Yes.
Like even if the
That'd be
Atmon
cute
themselves don't
tie-in.
appear, I want
Yeah, it'd be cute.
the replacement for iTunes instead of be generic. I want to have music icon on this.
I mean, does no one other than me find that really fucking weird how they're posting that stuff to Twitter?
I like it.
I'm just
I'm happy
relieved
with it.
that I'm just relieved that they remember that Atmon still
No,
exists.
Yeah.
no. Well, like we got the nice.
But guys, it's not Digimon. Remember, it's not
Well,
a Digimon.
see,
It's
see,
just
see.
the fact. I mean, if they weren't doing it, it's easy. It would be easy to believe that they've just completely buried Atmon
So-
and that it's gone forever. But
so-
the
so-
fact that they keep doing it means that, like, okay,
Yeah.
they still know it exists.
So here's the thing, and it's where I don't quite post it on Twitter because anytime I say something on Twitter, people like take it very seriously because I try not to joke around.
They do that.
Well, and that's why I don't do it because if I say something that's really obviously as a joke, people take it like Mark knows something. I was gonna say, man, it sure is nice that they're posting photos of this little known brand that has nothing to do with Digimon.
Hmm.
And it's like not gonna say it because someone's gonna go, see,
Yeah.
he's saying it's not Digimon, and he would know. And it's like, it's why I can't make a joke like, for example, that when we were waiting for the V jump, I was gonna say, man, you guys are all gonna be shocked when they announce Atmon season 2. And it's like I can't even.
Yeah, you can't. No, you can't.
I can't make.
That's why I worded my tweet very carefully.
Yeah, where we can't make jokes on social media about certain things because people think we know. And here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
I can. People never assume that I know. Everyone knows I'm a shit talker. So.
Yeah.
Well, I shit talk all the time. Like people get insulted.
Yeah, but, like, you have industry ties. Like both of you have industry ties. I don't, so I'm allowed to shit talk.
Yeah, I guess that's true. AR runs enough panels, knows enough people, and I actually work in anime. So
I know people. I don't get a lot of inside information.
Yeah, but people can't distinguish between those two.
Yeah.
Right. That's the thing. Like, I'm going to be hanging out with a bunch of My Hero Academia voice actors. That doesn't mean I know anything about My Hero Academia.
Like, you were having a drink with, like, the voice actor of Leomon, right, once?
Yes.
Yeah. He could have slipped you something like, hey, this is how I die in the next season.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
In fact... every so often, I'll hear something like that. Like, I think I got I got information on a new, like, last year on a new game. Every so often I'll get something, but it's very weird, but it's very rare, and I don't ever vague tweet about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's usually said at the bar. And when it's said at the bar, it doesn't count.
Yeah. In fact, today's Anime North, and they announced 3 different titles I worked on that there had been no clue about them. I literally not, like, when something's not announced, I don't say it to the point, like, one of them was Kimono Friends. I was like, I can't say meow on Twitter. Someone's going to figure it out. Or I avoid words to the point that I I guarantee you, even if I knew anything, I wouldn't say anything. And in this case, none of us know anything.
Yeah.
We're guessing or having fun.
Yep. I did want to go back to the bonds for a second.
Sure, go ahead.
Because the idea of focusing out on bonds is sort of, I don't want to say it's discouraging. But it's just.
I guess I see. I wonder how much of that is Mark. Because here's the thing: you could say that our war game was about. It could be our war game bonds.
That's sort of what I'm getting at, though. The idea of bonds is pretty vague, and it does allow for a lot of possibilities. But just the fact that if you want to center a movie around it, like the degree of discipline you have to show to really reflect all that, like you have to show a lot of parallels and contrasts between all the different partners and their Digimon and the bonds that they have.
Yeah.
Like you've got to really weave the story around that, and it's really hard to do in a show that is expected to have a lot of action elements. Like another thing is if you take each partnership and look at their best scene in Try, like that's the benchmark. Like that's what you're trying to top. And that's really going to be hard to do.
Yeah.
Like you're really setting yourself up for unreasonable expectations if you say that this is what we're going to focus on, because so many series in the past have focused on it and have done really well without calling attention to it.
I kind of that's. I think you just kind of hit the nail on the head. It's not about if it does it good or bad. It's that they're talking about it so much, it kind of sets it up for that it kind of needs to be done. Because here's the thing, that's what Digimon basically is, and they
absolutely
and they talk about that in the interviews even. So calling attention to it is kind of dumb because it means you kind of have to live up to that. You've made it important when it's in everything.
Mm-hmm. It's like it's the title of the movie.
Yeah, I mean, like, you could say Bonds was the point of Appmon. It was the point of Try. Like, is there anything Digimon where Bonds was not the point of it? Or where you couldn't argue it was the point of it, even if it wasn't?
Nope. Human Digimon partnerships, ironic Wars.
Frontier, I guess, didn't have many bonds.
But here's the thing. It's not called partners, it's called bonds.
Mm-hmm.
Bonds as a concept is so wide. You could talk about Frontier, it's their bonds with each other. Because remember, one of them doesn't know he has a brother. And then that has a big part of the story later.
Yes, Sanoamon is sort of requires that sort of thing.
Yeah, it where it's such a generic concept, it becomes worrying because is it going to actually be special, or is it just that's and it goes back to the interview where what do you think of when you think of Digimon? And the response was bonds. Is it just called bonds because that's what comes to mind, or is there a special reason? Because like
if you're gonna emphasize it,
Sorry, go ahead.
Every series does it to a certain point.
Well, exactly, and especially like coming after, regardless of if someone likes Try or not, if that was called Digimon Adventure Bonds, no one would have had an issue with that title. That's what it was about. So it'll be kind of interesting.
I think people would have liked it better, honestly, if it was called Bonds. It's like that's sort of because Try did a really good job with that element of it.
Yeah, it's
like
also
if that's what they ended up calling it as the whole series, and like it's going to be about the bonds everyone has with their partners, I'm like, oh, okay, that's what it was. That was all right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let us move on to questions, and we'll start with a few prepared ones while they ask in the room. Raven, and this was sent I want to say half an hour before the show started or so, because I think AR was tagged on it also.
Oh yeah, I put that in. I actually put that at the end. But.
With signs pointing to the 20th anniversary project being a single entry, do you think they can pull off giving all 8 partners their individual moments / character arcs / subplots? Well, no. Here's the thing.
They can if they don't. They can if they don't have any action in it.
Here's the thing.
Extra characters.
Here's the thing. Character arcs, no. Subplots, maybe. Moments, yes. Because here's the thing. You can go back to our war game where, and it's unfair to keep bringing up our war game, but it's an easy one to go to.
Mm-hmm.
They don't all have arcs. They do all have subplots to some degree or another, minus maybe Mimi.
Mimi and Joe, their subplots are really tense.
Well, Joe's here's the thing though. Joe's subplot fits with Joe.
It does, but at the same time, for a project like this where you're bringing back all the characters, if you're going to give Joe and Mimi, and to a minor extent even Hikari.
Yes.
The treatment they had in our war game, you can't do that in the new
As
project.
for
you have to give them more.
As for individual moments, absolutely, because that's not it's not hard to do to flash to a character and have them do something quickly. In fact, thinking about it, and I actually was thinking about this right after it got asked, I think only one character didn't get individual moments done that well, and it's not the character you're going to think it is. I would say Hikari for our war game.
I would say Hikari as well, because it was about 3 seconds long, and she was like in a coma because that's what she does.
Because all joking aside, Hikari's moments were all just, oh, she's the little sister, and that may be her part in the series, but there is more to it than that. Like everyone else, there are character moments that you can see where it came from the show.
Look, I'm still pretty mad about the whole like, oh, Patamon, you evolved too.
I'm not.
It's like that was his evolution.
Yeah.
I mean, I know he got his own parts in chapter 3, and that was fine.
He got enough in 3 to be okay with it in 4.
But it's still weird to me.
The ending of 4 was kind of a mess in other ways, but that was a part of it.
Yeah. Then Ian sent in a couple basically related to game news. If Cyber Sleuth does get ported to Switch, do you think it'll be announced during E3? It feels like something E3 around E3. It might not literally be E3, but
if it's not E3, then Expo, like I said, would be a good time to do it.
Yeah. Do we think any other older Digimon games could get Switch ports in the spirit of stuff like Bandicoot or Katamari Damacy? No. For what?
It's not big enough.
I mean, there's a key thing here. Digimon still exists as relevant to people who care. Crash Bandicoot didn't. Crash Bandicoot crashed and burned over 15 years of doing stuff no one cared about. And then it just vanished. And Katamari Damacy, kind of the same thing happened where it just kind of went away. And then
that's sort of a. And I don't think about that anymore because Katamari was huge for a while, and then it's just sort of nothing.
And then the Switch game was just the original game brought back. And the other truth is especially when you go like to the older Digimon games, in the case of most of them, if you want them, there is something to a modern equivalent. Like if your thing was Digimon World 1, Next Order is kind of what you would expect for more of that.
Yeah.
In the case of stuff like 2 and 3, it doesn't line up exactly, but those are kind of, I mean, it's the same. By and large, that was the same team that created Story, and that is still what Story is. So
yeah, if they're gonna port anything, it would be one of the old games.
Yeah,
Next Order kind of covers that.
Base. Like I could almost see them. All joking aside, it would be almost something like All-Star Rumble and throw in a few more characters. Because that's modern. They already probably have it where it can run on multiple stuff easily. Throw in a few try things and call it, All-Star Rumble X or whatever.
All-Star Rumble.
How mad would people be?
All-Star Rumble Tournament Edition.
Well, yeah, because here's the thing. Like, if you go back to Rumble Arena, there's no real reason they would bring that back. If they were still doing the PS1 re-releases, it may be a different case. But based on his wording, I'm assuming he means like proper remastered ports. Rumble Arena, they're not going to do that. Rumble Arena 2, I could actually see them doing where they throw it in an emulator that re-renders the graphics. I don't think they would, and I don't think there's a reason to, but that one, you could at least argue they could. And oddly, the same with World X, because there's no work to be done. You just throw it in an emulator that renders it out at 1080p. I don't think they're going to, but those ones at least seem... Maybe? I mean, they're not going to, but... Yeah, you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Like it is in the sense of the technology already is there and they could do it easily. I just don't see it being worth their effort.
Yeah.
But But I will also say Bandai is kind of fucking weird sometimes, even among game companies.
Hmm.
So who fucking
Mm.
who fucking knows? Like
I wasn't expecting Hacker's Memory to potentially be on the Switch all of a sudden.
that was kind
I
of
thought
an.
they were.
I'll be honest, Cypress was getting ported has kind of been in the back of my mind for a while because they've been porting stuff to PC and Switch a lot, even some weird ones that like I could understand them doing the newest Naruto Ninja Storm games. But then they went back and they ported every single fucking one they ever made to Switch and PC when it's not really necessary to do so. I assume the
Mm.
engines just shared enough that made it easy. But like, was there any reason to go back and port the 2007 Naruto game alongside the one from 2016? Not really. And one was the only one I liked. So I'm not that I'm complaining. It just as for some of them, I don't know. Bandai is weird. I mean, you could license a PS1 emulator from someone and set it up and throw it on Steam if they really wanted to. I don't think they would, but I mean, that's why I say Bandai's weird.
Hmm.
Mm.
Because, like, it doesn't make. There's no logical sense to do so, but also it's Bandai, which means, yeah, at one point they could go, we could license that PS1 emulator for a couple thousand, throw it up on Steam forever, and make back our money in a couple weeks,
Hmm.
and then it's profit forever.
Mm.
So it's not impossible. I just don't see it happening. Let's see. Take a break from some of the ones that were sent ahead of time to see what's in the chat.
Yeah,
Oh, okay,
Ramones had one.
okay. Yeah, Ramon asks when Rearise gets its global release, will Link's end the way Heroes ended? I feel like Link's is entering the end game already if it hasn't
Yeah,
already hit it.
eventually. It's kind of winding down.
Yeah, I feel like
There will be some overlap, but
yeah, I feel like Link's we're getting the ending of it now. Realist like that feels like what Jazamon is, to be honest.
hmm.
It's the bookend.
Yeah.
I just they're different games, but it's too similar of a market to keep going. Is my main thing.
Mhm. Did Heroes go down at the same time everywhere?
Yeah, yes,
Yeah.
except what it was based on. What was it, Crusader in Japan, which had been
Crusader.
gone for a while. But Heroes,
Yeah, they've been off for years.
Heroes left the same time everywhere. It
Mm.
might
Okay.
not have been the same minute, but it was the same
Yeah,
day
Yeah.
same
roughly.
general.
Which is weird because we like Australia got it like I want to say a year and a half before everyone else.
You guys got it like half a year, but it was explicitly a beta.
It was
They
pretty good though.
they were
It's fun.
specific.
Yeah,
They were
yeah,
specific.
I like Heroes.
They were specifically using you guys to figure out the bugs in the English version before giving it to us.
Mm.
But that means you also got another half year of the game.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But Heroes was also one where I want to say it felt like it got better like 2 or 3 months into it as they were patching stuff. It felt like it kind of
Mm.
Yeah.
got fixed. So we'll see what comes
Hmm.
up there.
Yeah, but all the events because at one point like it was sort of
Yeah.
just the story mode, but there was nothing wrong with the story mode.
Yeah.
But it was
Yeah.
fun when had all the events.
But yeah, we'll see. I don't see Links lasting long much Rerise. Although I wouldn't be shocked if they did something weird internationally, like Links becomes Rerise. Like it's the same app and it just moves over account
Mm.
info.
Yeah,
Mm.
I guess it's similar enough, and then you could keep your Digimon. But that I feel
Well,
like keeping your
well,
Digimon would be weird, considering Re-Rise seems to have a plot.
see. I'm not thinking of it that deeply. I'm more thinking of they don't want to make the quote unquote whales have to go and sign up again. I'm just talking about
Yeah.
transferring over the account and maybe giving you some currency if you had a Lynx account.
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
While we wait for more questions in the chat, we'll go back to the list. We kind of already answered this one, but just quickly, could we get pendulums of the Digimon X next? I mean, the
You
pension.
guys.
We already kind of went over this. The
Yeah,
pendulums.
you were kind of touched that
Yeah.
already.
The pendulums feels like it's just
Not
a matter
the
of time.
conversation I was expecting while you were talking about the title of the new Evolution movie, but
Yeah. The pendulums feels like it's just a matter of time as long as the 20th VPET does all right. The X. I mean, we went over this also, but The X is kind of harder to quantify because we did get it. We just
Mm.
didn't get it in as easy a manner. Okay, next one was, could the podcast ever go back to being every 2 weeks or even weekly? Not really. I mean, here's the thing. If news starts flying in, then yes, we'll figure out some way to do it. But that may mean there'll be an episode with me and May, an episode with me and AR,
Yeah.
because part of it realistically is scheduling.
Yeah, because like AR has a life. Like he has
Yeah.
I've got
a child and
the big thing is that I have a 3-year-old, and doing the podcast involves either distracting him or getting him out of the house. So it does require some interference to make that happen. So it's and also because we like our Saturdays. Saturday is the only day where my wife and I both have off, so we like to do stuff together.
Exactly. We do the podcast.
I'm looking at June. It's going to be another 5 weeks before I'm available.
I mean, we do the podcast now because that is effectively when we can do it with all three of us.
Yeah.
The podcast could always change schedules where if stuff's being thrown out, it could always be, once a month we do the normal Saturday one, and maybe once in a while midweek it'd be me and AR at a random time at night. Or, there might be an episode maybe on a Friday night where May has a different schedule, but AR won't be around. If we have to do it quicker, we would find a way, but it would not be just, Saturday every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
There's just no way to make... We were able to successfully do it for a while, but that was kind of killing all of us to do, I think.
Yeah.
But or there could occasionally be a catch-up episode where it's me alone going through the news, talking about it, and just, for lack of a better phrase, getting it done. Where just so people can get the news without having to skim the site every 5 minutes. And there was a real risk of that potentially happening today, because originally Era wasn't going to be here, and May was doing a sleep study.
Yeah, well, that was yesterday, though.
No, I know, but you never know how that will throw someone off. You may have overslept or something, and I may have been me sitting here.
There was like a concern that I would be too fucked and too it feels like jet lag what I have, but I'm on my medication now at least, which is good because the thing is. Also, in addition to that, the last 2 weeks I've been off my medication, so I don't think I could have been able to be on a show because I don't know. I could be it could be just a bad day and I just stay in bed.
No, exactly.
I can't move.
And that's why. Yesterday afternoon, originally, like the cards at the time were, it was me in the first slot, May in the second slot, and I had a new May blocker on the off chance she wasn't there in case I had to do it alone. It was prepared that.
Yeah.
If it was going to be just me, it would have been just me, and I'm sure it would have been well enough.
Like the news would have come out.
Yeah. Kind of related to that, someone asked any update on us doing the Star Trek podcast since we talked. It comes down to like me and May both do want to do it. It comes down to scheduling, because here's the thing. Have to watch the show and have to find a time to record it when
and make notes and organize. Like it is that sort of thing does take time.
Well, here's the thing, like and you guys don't necessarily, the notes that go up afterwards that everyone listen, those aren't the same notes that me, AR, and May look at. These have images and everything, like where I've actually laid stuff out, links, information, so they don't have to click it. There's effort here. I'm not gonna do that for the Star Trek the Star Trek podcast. If it would literally be title card with a screenshot and title of an episode, me and May talk for however long, and then we move on to the next one. I assume May would make notes for herself, but a lot of this I know. Yeah. Like if someone said right now, talk about episode X of Star Trek, I could literally do that right now.
I mean, I needed to make notes for the Digimon one, and I know about what happens, but I needed my, I wanted my precise thoughts to come out.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so
many markers writing system restore.
But yeah, so the Star Trek podcast is planned. It's just a matter of it's scheduling. We're literally on the opposite sides of the world with like opposite times.
Yeah.
It's figuring that out, and if we don't do it, that would be why. It's just figuring out the scheduling. Because, like, for example, how do we do the do we do 6 episodes every 2 weeks? Do we do half a season a month?
Yeah.
It's a matter of figuring out what works.
Yeah, because there are a lot of Star Trek episodes throughout all the seasons, right? I mean, Star Trek's still going as the Netflix original, right?
Yes, Star Trek is still
CBS.
well. It's outside of the U.S. and Canada. It's Netflix for them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, is it not Netflix? Oh,
No.
I thought it was a Netflix original because it's a Netflix original here.
Yeah, it's Netflix original everywhere except for the U.S. and Canada. On Canada, it's on Space or one of those channels. Here, it's CBS has their own over-the-top service.
All right.
So you have to subscribe just to a CBS service for Star Trek. And it's a Star Trek that I don't like, so I've watched the first 2 episodes and then moved on, and I will have to watch that if we do that, and that doesn't make me happy.
Roger. Well, it's easy because I've got Netflix, so
Yeah.
I'm fine.
But yeah, like to the point that in a notepad file, I literally went through and came up with an order to give to May so we could successfully do it without her having to jump around. I have a list.
Did you check it twice?
Oh, I checked it I have 2 different lists. That's how much I've checked it. Like down
Did
to
you find out who's naughty and nice?
I think we're all naughty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm innocent. I only swear sometimes.
We're all dickholes.
Swearing is a sometimes food.
But yeah, so we do have that plan. It's just a matter of figuring it out. At one point, May was like, "Invite AR," and AR was like, "No."
It's the scheduling.
Yeah, I don't know.
Also because I've had a million opportunities to get into Star Trek, and people have tried to get me into Star Trek, and
I just didn't want him to feel left out.
Well, I kind of knew what the answer was going to be to AR before I asked him. But
with the scheduling problems that you're having now would have been twice as bad.
Aforementioned life.
Yeah.
But because it could realistically the way the Star Trek show will probably work is probably going to be me and May decide every 2 or 3 weeks we will record, probably at a time more friendly to her and less friendly to me. And
I'm honestly fine with 7 a.m. recordings. Like it works. It means like by the time this finishes, I still have a day. Like.
Yeah. Well, what I expect we'll do is it will be not dissimilar title card wise from here. Mine instead will just be whatever episode we're doing, and probably at the end we'll list whatever episodes the next one will be. So if someone wants to follow along. And I figured it'd be something like I figured probably be like 6 episodes every 2 to 3 weeks. Minus times when there's lots of not filler but less important episodes, and then we'll just blow through them with the occasional specials for a movie or 2 here or there.
What are those Star Trek things that like I think for some reason my brain keeps on going they're called gerbils, but they're not called gerbils. They're like
tribbles.
Tribbles. There we are. I knew it was close to gerbils. I like them. They're my friends.
There will be there will be tribbles for you to bring up to see. And you will,
best friends.
Yeah, some of the tribble ones you'll probably enjoy.
Yeah, I also know there's the evil one where they have facial hair.
We're gonna have fun, May.
And I've seen the movie with Vija. That's there's my knowledge.
Oh yeah.
I think that's another reason why I wouldn't be good podcast. It's not like I haven't seen Star Trek. I just didn't really get into it. Like I've seen plenty of Star Trek.
Look, one of the specials is literally gonna be just the first 20 minutes of the first Star Trek movie, and May wondering how they can do a 20-minute shot of the spaceship with nothing happening.
Oh no, I've seen that. The first one is in the original series first movie because that's the one I've seen with Vija.
Oh, I thought you said it was the first one with the reboot.
No, I've seen the reboot one as well. I was talking about the original one.
Yeah, me and May will have plenty to talk about. We will figure that out. Moving on to the next. Let's see. Now in the chat, next prepared one is someone said with the downtime for Digimon lately, what else have you guys been doing? May, why don't you go first?
What have I been doing? I've been like house sitting for the past month and a half, so I haven't been doing my own podcast. But I was, as I mentioned before, off my medication for 2 weeks, which is too bad because I can't drive without my medication, so I was not driving. So I had a sleep study Friday night, so that was 24 hours in the hospital, which was yesterday having them come in every an hour and a half and telling me to go to sleep, and then timing me straight on from that and seeing how fast it takes me to fall asleep, and normally not a problem, but because I was anxious, because I get my medication cheaper if I fall asleep on an average of under 10 minutes. And my previous averages have been like 10 minutes 30. I was really stressed, so I didn't get my. I mean, I don't have the results yet, but if I don't get the cheaper medication, it's still going. The medication will still cost me $260 for 30 pills. With the discount, it's 25. So yes, it's stressful, and then I have to do the test again. If not, because I would like that discount. Besides that, I don't know what I've been doing with my life. Lots of space. I've been taking lots of space photos with moons and Jupiter.
Yeah,
and
those are nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying that. I want to buy a better camera, but I'm aforementioned expensive medication, and I want to buy a house one day. But yeah, that's me.
I was still proud of that comment I made.
Which one?
The one on Reddit where you like went, oh no, regarding the multi-case. My response was, damn it, Bandai,
Yeah.
don't you know she's trying to save to buy a house?
Yeah. Want
Okay.
a house.
AR, what have you been up to?
Well, this is the busy season for my convention planning right now. Like I said before, this is the time where I'm picking and choosing the panels to accept and sending emails and doing a lot of communications, and I'm putting the main schedule together for the convention, which is KitsuneCon, Green Bay, Wisconsin, July 12th through the 14th. I'm not doing a Digimon panel there either because I'm just not because I don't want to, or not because I am being rejecting myself, but because I'm just way too busy to do it there. I'm doing a fan fiction panel there, so I've got that going on. And also going to have other stuff going on with that convention, so definitely that's kind of consumed a lot of my free time. Although I am still hammering away at my story. Planning on new chapters starting on June 6th. So if you want to get your... Yeah, there you go. So you can read the new chapters of my story starting then.
Yeah. And as for me,
or go back and read the first 7. Those are up.
Let's see. And as for me, a lot of work. Caught a few movies in theaters. Pikachu and John Wick.
Pikachu was good.
Yeah, it was good. But as I put it on Twitter, I found it good. But the only special thing about it was that it was Pokemon.
Oh yeah.
My wife guilted me into not going.
Aww.
Like she was gone for like a week and a half, and and some friends that were interested in going, I was gonna tag along, and she was like, "You're gonna go see it without me? That's no fair." And the plans fell through, so I just never didn't go see it.
Yeah.
Even though without the kid around, I actually had the opportunity.
And let's see, and then I had to do the write up for the Industry Badge at Anime Expo because they don't just give those to you.
Oh no.
You have to they want to know you're coming here as how will that benefit your work and all kinds of stuff. It's writing down references so they can check to make sure you actually do work in the industry.
I almost had to apply for an industry badge for Anime Central this year.
Did you end up or no?
No, Staffer gave me a free one.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Just a free regular badge.
And then scheduling that because my schedule that week might kill me. Tuesday night, going to see Spider-Man with a friend, which is July 2nd.
Spider-Man.
Then the third is then when I head down to the middle of LA for Anime Expo, which getting through LA is hell. Then I'm there and leaving the 7th, which then I'm immediately heading to I don't know what because people plan my birthday stuff without telling me. Because literally the con ends on my birthday then. So
those can be fun.
That can be fun, but that is going to be a tough week. Because here's the thing: I remember I stopped going to Anime Expo because it was tiring, exhausting, and cost a lot. Back in 2004, 2005, and it's 10 times.
It's not better.
No, that's what I mean. The last time I went to Anime Expo, it was in Anaheim at the Anaheim Convention Center. The hotel was nice, but not insanely expensive, and it was literally right across the street. And just walk over. Now it's it's an expensive hotel. It's a mile and a half away, and they have shuttles. And the Los Angeles Convention Center is just fucking gigantic. It's one of those things where I'm glad I'm going, because I do work in it now. It's nice to walk around it and enjoy that, but it's like
Yeah.
the Los Angeles Convention Center is hell.
Hmm. Yeah. Actually, Anime Central was kind of weirdly relaxing this year for me. It was nice not having to drive or park.
The
And
last
since I'm rooming with other people, it was pretty affordable.
the last time I went to a relaxing convention was a very small anime convention they did at my college. It was small, it was relaxing. I went home at the end of the day, and then I got sick for 2 months from the convention.
Oh no.
And that was my senior year in college, which was
Mm.
fantastic. It's fun to be writing papers when you can't stop sniffling and everything.
Oh.
But yeah, it will be fun and get pictures of everything for everyone post and figure out how to post while I'm there, which is a terrible idea, but I'm going to try to do it anyways.
Yeah. I mean, posting on the website, I suppose, is different. I was still able to update the Twitter and Tumblr as I found stuff.
There has been occasional times when the updates when I haven't been home and the updates on the site are literally me trying to write it on my phone, and that is
Yeah, I've done that.
that's hell.
Yeah.
Like especially trying to get pictures uploaded and stuff. That's terrible. Let's see. I think that's it for the questions. We'll give them one last chance in the chat room, and then we'll call it.
And then I'm gonna go and try to make keto bread.
I don't even know what that is.
Well, keto is the low carb diet. I'm not keto.
Oh,
but
keto. Okay, for some reason I heard something else the first time.
No,
I heard
Keto?
Yeah, that yeah.
I'm making Joe keto bread.
yeah. I heard keto also rather than keto. That's why.
Oh man, I wish I was home because I could just put one of my like Joe merchandise and just sort of stick it on it on the bread, and then like say, "Look, Joe keto."
It's
But yeah,
keto bread.
Like my doctor says that I should try having low carbs because it's apparently good for people with narcolepsy to be more awake with getting your body into ketosis. And I was just like, okay, I'll try that, doc. And then I just looked up on the internet. Apparently everything's a fucking carb. So I like food. So he can go fuck himself.
My wife was on keto for a little while. It's hell.
Yeah, but like I'll give it like I'll try it, but I want to see how this keto bread goes. It's with coconut flour. I'm not sure how a fucking coconut can make fucking flour, but like I'll give it a go.
I was cleaning the cupboard while my wife was gone and found some of that. I was very confused.
Yeah, like it's apparently what you do. Apparently, like people try to make flour without carbs, and I'm just like, okay, but I still can't have fucking pasta or rice, and that's just food.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, looks like there's no more questions, so let's go ahead and call it. AR, where can they find you?
On Twitter at First Agent ARP, on the web at digimon.firstagent.net, and fanfiction.net and AO3 at AR Pulver. That'll be updated with stuff soon.
May, where can they find you?
I'm Ancient Irismon on Twitter, and I've been posting my sleep study updates there lately, which is fun, I'm sure. And everywhere else, I'm like also Lost in Translation one with everywhere else. I don't think I've mentioned my Tumblr, but I do have a Tumblr. It's Airdramon, obviously. And I'm also Airdramon on Gaia Online.
I'll go ahead.
I'm not joking.
Is Gaia Online still around?
It's better. They fixed everything wrong with it, so I came back.
Wow.
And I've just been built. Like you can make like it's just. There's also Digimon items now. There's like yeah.
Oh my god.
I'll go ahead and keep the identity of the potential guest host a secret for when they eventually do.
I don't think I even know.
No, because here's the thing. By the time I even threw up the advertising image, which is when I would have told you, they were already aware that they probably weren't going to be able to make it. But on the off chance they were, I had a secondary overlay ready. And then when AR said he was going to be ready, I kind of just decided I didn't know what I was going to do, so I just did this. We did the standard one and just went. Don't know what we'll do if they are able to make it.
I think I heard you shrug.
Maybe.
Kick them to the curb because they obviously can't replace me.
No one can replace you, AR.
Hey, I had plenty of jokes about how much they were ready to replace AR.
That's sad.
Like, they have glasses. They would have fit in easily for me or AR.
I have
I
glasses.
gotta figure out who it is so I can beg them to replace me.
So yeah, you can find most of my twittering is on with the will. You can find me, of course, on the site itself, and on the Patreon. We're close to where the lead up comes back permanently, which will be kind of painful, but will be worth it for anyone who wants suggestions on where to do stuff. So, and dangerously close to having like 7 or 8 different projects finished, including the big one, which keeps getting delayed.
Yay!
So I think that's about it. Anyone else have anything else to say?
I'm hungry. I want keto bread. I don't even know what it probably tastes like shit.
May
Yeah,
May
don't,
in
I don't know who, but
in celebration of your attempt, I will immediately go off and have carbs.
Do it.
same.
Do it for me.
Thanks
Everyone have carbs.
Thanks everyone for listening. We'll catch you guys next time. Thanks again for showing up. Bye.
See ya.
Bye.